Hi everybody, my name is Abugaroni and today's video is going to be on what I ride. Generally like the longboard setups I use, what I be using for downhill, what I be using for free riding, what I use for cruising mainly, that type of thing. And the very noble reason that I'm making this video today is because number one, someone requested it, so shout out to you, you know yourself, you wanted to see what I ride when I'm not doing reviews. And number two, that sweet YouTube ad revenue. I need that. I need that in my pocket. And I think doing this video, getting a couple views in is gonna allow me to hit that threshold to get the payment for this month. And I really need that payment. So actually for today, I know I'm a downhill skater. This is a downhill skateboarding channel, but we're going to talk about my cruising setup first. You guys already know all about this board. You've seen me talk about it endlessly. You've seen me talk about it and make videos on my other channel, Longboarding Explained. But for those who don't know, this is the Comet Cruiser. It's a really fun sort of cruiser that's really nimble, super portable, super stable as well, rides like a dream, nice for pushing long distances, accelerates fast, can do slides, can go down hills. It's basically a perfect cruiser board. So yeah, maybe you don't really do cruising as a downhill skater, but like having a cruiser board that's super fun to ride, super fun to do things you can't do with on your downhill board. Like you can like vibe in a way on this board that you can't really vibe on your downhill board. So just having something like that in your quiver that's going to allow you to get that vibe off is, I think, just super nice. Now let me break down what this board actually is, why I like each component, etc. So first off, the board is the Prism Coil Trotter Pro. I really like this board, and I like it for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's affordable, which I think is super nice. Number two, it has very tasteful taper. Like the taper isn't all that aggressive, so you actually get a semi-consistent width over your toes and your heels, which I really appreciate for freeride. I find like when I want to do stand-up slides, especially toe sides, like having my toe on the edge here, really maximizing the width of the board and having my toe over the front wheel really helps me with like balancing and holding out stand-up toe side slides. So having that is really nice. The other thing I really like is the wheelbase options. I think it's like, I don't know, 20 not 22, maybe 23 to like 26 or 27 or something like that. I don't know, you guys can look it up. I'm a terrible YouTuber, I'm sorry, but you can look it up. You also do get a little bit of flush mounting. Flush mounting is always so nice because flush mounting allows you to do this thing which is called wedging and de-wedging, and you don't really increase the ride height all that much because you do have a little bit of flush mounting. So I think it's super nice to have on any sort of downhill board. And finally, it has a kicktail. Kicktail is just super fun to play with when you're cruising around town. It's just a super fun thing to have. But the thing that I don't like about the Coil Trotter is the construction. I honestly think the concave is perfect, the board is perfect, the cost is perfect. Like everything else about this board is almost exactly as I'd like, apart from one more thing which I will mention. But the construction does leave a little bit of torsional flex. It doesn't impact my riding experience all that much, but I would prefer something stiffer, something more torsionally stiff. I do think it will improve performance a little bit and it will definitely be noticeable. Finally, the other thing that I don't like is the wheel wells. Now, to be honest, like it doesn't affect my riding experience presently negatively, but when I do run like really big wheels, like 75 millimeters all the way to 80 millimeters, I do tend to get wheel bite, and that affects how I have to set this board up. I really think Full Circle Distribution, the guys who made this board, could really do a good job of like switching up how they make the wheel wells. Yeah, and hopefully we'll be talking to one of the managers about that soon, and we'll be able to pester him about it. Right, the other thing that's important about this setup is the trucks that I've chosen. I'm riding Rogue V3 trucks, 145 millimeters, but adjustable all the way up to 155 millimeters. The base plate angles, excuse me, the base plate angles, that's the spirit of Zach Matum choking me for some reason, I don't know. Zach Matum, please forgive me, please don't choke me again. Anyway, uh, uh, the width is 145 millimeters to 155 millimeters. Right now, I have it set up at 140, 145 millimeters because I'm running these sort of Venom prototype cut down Magnum Freeride wheels that I don't know if they're ever gonna release to the public, but they're pretty sick. And for base plate angles, I'm running 50 in the front and 40 in the back, but the 40 in back is de-wedged to 35 degrees. So effectively I have 50, 35. I really, really like those Freeride angles. Um, I like the back truck to be a little bit dead. Sometimes with symmetrical trucks, I find like it's much easier to rotate into 180 degrees. But of course, if you do want to do switch riding, this kind of sucks. But yeah, I really like split angles for freeriding, just a bit more stability at speed. The back doesn't want to kick out as easily. Obviously, I do think I could get used to symmetrical trucks, but they also do have their own challenges. So yeah, I really like split angles, 50, 35, 45, 35, or 50, 30, etc. I really do hope Rogue does come out with the cast 30-degree base plate that they wanted to make. I don't know if they'll be able to. Like, the longboarding industry is an absolute shambles. I don't know if they're gonna be able to make that, but I really hope they do come out with that. It would be really sick to see that. And bushing wise, I'm actually running short barrel bushings in these trucks. The reason I'm running short barrel bushings, and you can check out my review for more information, is because with the tall barrel bushings, I basically don't have all that much support throughout the lane, and holding out stand-up slides with these trucks was really difficult for me. Maybe if you're a better rider than me, you'll have a much easier time, but I find that just using standard barrels and using a bushing shim gave me the performance that I wanted out of these trucks, so that's what I'm using. So in the front truck, the 50-degree truck, I'm running a purple bushing roadside, which is 87A Venom, and a red barrel broadside, which is a 90A Venom. In the back, the 35-degree truck. In the front, by the way, I have flat washers all around. In the back, the 35-degree truck, I have a pink barrel broadside with a cupped washer, which is 97A, and a green barrel roadside, which is 93A. It is quite hard for 35 degrees, I'm not gonna lie. However, when I did set this up, I was like about 80 kg. I haven't really changed it all that much. No, sorry, 85 kg. So maybe it was fine for that weight class. Also, I find with like the wedging, sometimes it can make the back truck behave really weird. And I think this just works with this sort of configuration. I do think if I didn't have a wedge in the back and instead just a base plate that was actually 35 degrees, the bushings that I would choose would be different. But another tip, I do really enjoy using cupped washers in the back truck. It really locks in that back truck and it makes your initiation into slides a little bit smoother and a little bit more manageable. So I really do enjoy that. Now that we're done with the trucks, but before you do go on with the trucks, I think I don't. No, okay. We'll just move on from the trucks. So wheel wise, I'm running, like I said, the Venom prototypes, but usually I do run like the Banana Wheelco banana peels, which I really, really like. You can also check out my review of those wheels, but really generally anything that's 70 millimeters that slides nice and smooth, that is something that I would enjoy. So yeah, grip tape wise, I have Lockton in the front and dark matter in the back, but this is the old dark matter, which isn't as sharp and as coarse as the new dark matter. But for freeride, I'm really, really happy with these. The other thing that you do need to know is that I do run brake soles. I do use brake soles, so that does help keep me quite locked in. On the kicktail, I just have normal skateboard grip tape, and that's just honestly just to save myself from having to use more of this nice, more expensive grip tape. Okay, that last take was so much longer than I thought it would be, but I guess it's necessary to give you guys full rundown of what I run and why I run it the way I do. Anyway, moving on to my downhill board, my hands down board. Yeah, so this is a custom Rocket Dawn from Rocket Longboards. Of course, you guys can check out my review for more information on it. But as time has gone on, I'm really, really happy with it. As you guys may know, the custom thing that I did on it, I made it 8.7 inches wide. both front and back. I changed the wheelbase options, but more importantly, uh, I'm running my trucks on the 20-inch wheelbase, which is super nice. Now, the things I really like about this board: number one, the construction. Rocket has really dialed in the construction. It's super solid. Um, it is a little bit heavy, but because this board is actually quite small, that's not as much of an issue. But compared to other riders' boards, like even my friend's small blind or like my Diego Pro, this board is significantly heavier. Like people always comment, like, dude, I didn't expect it to be that heavy. But yeah, the construction is solid, and the weight doesn't really affect the riding experience all that much. But yeah, the other thing I do like is the concave. The concave is pretty flat. If you guys know me, I love flat boards. I hate curves. I'm joking. I don't hate curves, but flat boards just work much better with me. But the wheel, you do have a bit of concave on the wheel flares. But yeah, why flat concave is nicer? It's not necessarily nicer, but it works way better for me. It just feels more natural to me. And also, if I have too much concave on my heel, sometimes I feel like it affects my heel side slides, and I'm not able to get enough leverage. So I really don't like that. But yeah, I really like the flat concave, but I do think it could be flatter. But really happy with the board. Really stoked on it. Now, a couple of things I don't like about it: construction is decent, but like with how I abuse my boards, like it is starting to come apart a little bit. I do wish like okay, I either have to be kinder or someone has to put urethane bumpers on the next board I'm going to use. But I think I probably just have to be kinder. I think boards aren't indestructible. I did see someone's descent board in a clip. I think it was E. Smith, disintegrating and exploding, and that has urethane rails. And if that explodes, then there's really no future for this thing if I'm not that much kinder. Finally, the other thing is got the iron head sticker. That's the lucky sticker. Gotta have that on all your downhill boards. Gotta have the protection of Jesus. Yeah, for grip tape, I'm using dark matter. Dark matter is really good. It's really coarse, super sharp, pretty much the same performance as Lockton. So there's that. Footstop wise, in the last board, by the way, I was using a Nether Skate footstop, which is a copy of the Mini IO from Riptide, but I think the Riptide Mini IO is just better, so get that instead than that. But I do like that because it is a little bit lower profile. Here I'm running the Comet footstop. Now I really like this footstop. Number one, it's pretty much indestructible. I've fallen many times. My board has flipped upside down many times, but this thing has held up super well. It's been run over by a bike, by a car. Still holding up pretty well. I've had it since I think 2019, and it's still going strong. The other thing, I think it's quite comfortable. I think it's more comfortable than those scythe type footstops that are around as well. This one is more comfortable. Of course, if you do put it in a bad position where you have to squish your toe up against it, your toe will hurt over time, but I do think it's a little bit more forgiving. So yeah, it's my favorite footstop, and it finds its way on all my downhill boards. And yeah, it just feels super natural. The other big benefit is that it's quite tall, and that helps a lot with locking in your foot. Even when you do sort of like lift up your foot when you're like doing hillsides sometimes or doing toe sides, it does lock it in quite nice. Yeah, and then that tallness also, like when you're going fast, you fall and you flip your board over. That tallness helps protect your board from like getting messed up, like from getting sanded basically, or from your board getting road rash essentially. So that is actually super nice. Grip tape wise, I already talked about that. Now let's talk about my very messed up torque block in the rear. Yeah, there's a lot happening, but basically this is a butchered up Slide Perfect wedge. I like the Slide Perfect wedge because it's quite dense and it gives me more of like a direct feeling between me and the board. I did try the Venom torque block, but that was more squishy and I didn't like the feeling of squish. It kind of like dampened the sensation I was getting from the board, and I really didn't like that. However, Gerrit from Nemo Products did tell me that the your torque block can feel different depending on the grip tape you are using. If you're using really flexible grip tape like dark matter, like the Venom torque block is going to feel a little bit soft. But if you have paper backed grip tape like Lockton or whatever the Scythe grip tape uses, it does end up feeling much stiffer. So your experience may vary depending on the grip tape you use, but I really like the Slide Perfect wedge. And the other thing that's nice about the Slide Perfect wedge, it's easy to cut up as well. So what I've done is I've basically layered it in different ways that are going to feel good for me. And the thing you need to pay attention to most for me is the toe side edge. So I actually have like a weird sort of W here. So I've kind of layered two of the wedges on top of each other here, and this gives me like a nice W, and that sits under the ball of my foot, kind of helps lock in my foot a little bit more. So when I run over like chanda or road imperfections like pebbles or cracks in the road, my foot isn't shifted off as easily. I really like that. I have moved this section back a little bit because I tend to find I like to toe side where I tuck and where I do my toe sides is a little bit different. I like to toe side more over the front, over the back truck, and I like to keep my foot more in the middle. So this gives me the the best of both worlds. Finally, this here is just for comfort. I don't really need it, but having it here just does add to the whole experience and does actually give me something nice to push against when I'm doing hillside stand-up slides on this board. Yeah, so that's my setup. And then obviously the grip tape is coming off a little bit here, but I do like to have grip tape on the edge here. It does help with confidence when doing toe sides quite a bit. So I'm gonna have to super glue that down. Okay, now that we're done with the board, let's talk a little bit about the trucks. Obviously, hopefully you guys have seen my ZM1 review. If you haven't, do go check that out. I really do like ZM1s. I think they're the best hands down downhill truck that I've tried so far. Really enjoy them. I don't think I'm going to buy anything else. Now, what don't I like about the ZM1s? What I don't like about the ZM1s is you can't ride them in the rain. And I have skated like a couple puddles with this board. And the spherical in the back truck, the pivot spherical has been fine, but like the insert spherical actually did rust a little bit, and that really scared me. So anytime I see like some droplets or whatever, I get spooked out and I'm like, yeah, I'm not skating. I'm just gonna take it easy. That's and that sucks. That actually really sucks. Like I wanna rain skate a little bit. Like obviously I do have other trucks, but I want the nimbleness and the stability and the fun that I get from ZM1s, and I do want to take it out in the rain, but I can't. Well, I could, but I don't want to deal with rusty spherical bearings. Anyway, so the ZM1s have base plate angles of 55, 20. You guys know the deal. Have a width of 100 millimeters to I think 111, if I'm wrong. 100 to 111 millimeters width. When I do run these wide downhill wheels like Magnums, I do tend to run them on the 100 millimeter width, and that gives me like nice nice rail matching. Well, not really nice rail matching. If you look, the wheels don't really match up all that well to the rails, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. That does make the ride more nimble, but I think it doesn't negatively affect my stability. All I find is it makes it more nimble, makes it want to turn in a little bit easier, a little bit quicker, and that all that does, it gives me better riding performance. I'm able to turn more aggressively, have more control over my wheels. It is a little bit less forgiving, but I think the trade-off is absolutely worth it. Any other notes? Again, if you guys have watched my review, you do know that I'm running a small washer on these trucks. What people do is they either run the stock bushing, so the stock washer setup, which has a wider flat washer, or they run a blue cone. The blue cone is super nice, but I find sometimes like when you're in slides and you're not super centered on the board, the truck can turn during the slide, and that can limit how much braking power you have. If you're able to keep the truck like balanced sort of like this and not like leaning all that much, you're able to get like as much braking power as you can. But I'm not able to do that with the blue cone. I don't find it to be as intuitive. So I do prefer the pink bushing, which is 74A with the smaller flat washer. It gives me kind of similar performance to the blue cone, as I did say in my review, but it's more forgiving. It's easier to keep it like sort of centered when I'm doing slides and get maximum braking. And yeah, I really do like it. Also, definitely using the smaller washer over the flat washer, or using the blue cone over the flat washer, gives you better performance altogether. Gives you better stability, better turning, smoother hookup from your slides. So yeah, do absolutely try that. Now in the back truck, yeah, just running it stock. But as you guys know in the review, I do like tighten it down a little bit to sort of get rid of the also the trucks are quite untightened now. That's why it's like really floppy. But yeah, I do tighten it down quite a bit to get rid of the dead zone, as you guys know. And yeah, that's it about the ZM1s. They're great trucks. My favorite, hands down, downhill truck that I've tried so far. And yeah, stoked with them. Now let's talk about the wheels. So I like to run all sorts of wheels on this board, but typically I like wheels that allow me to get like decent rail matching, or get like at least good enough to where I'm able to get decent performance with the wheels. If I was to run like those Venom prototype wheels, like even if I was to put it on the 116 option, like 111 option, like they'd be so much turtling that it wouldn't give me all that of a nice riding experience. But it is doable, and I have done some big toe-size slides on the board set up that way. But I tend to run Magnums, all sorts of downhill wheels. I have started running the Cannibals and using those for hands-up slides, stand-up slides. Man, my brain power is going down. Zach Madam, Jesus, give me strength. I was cringe. But yeah, so yeah, and bearings wise, I'm running Zillus bearings in these trucks. Zillus bearings in all those trucks as well. Zillus just worked great. I've had these all year. They're still running strong. Haven't done a lick of maintenance on them. Maybe apart from like wiping the excess lubricant that comes out once you break the bearings in. But other than that, haven't done a lick of maintenance. Maybe I should do some maintenance, but they're still going strong. Really happy with that. And yeah, that's all my setups. If you've enjoyed this probably very long video now, do let me know what you think. I really appreciate it. And yeah, homie who requested this video, hope you're satisfied. And yeah, help me get that sweet ad revenue from YouTube. Do remember to like, do remember to leave a comment. Maybe tell me what setup you are running, why you're running it. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Shout out to all the brands that helped me get these boards, because I either got most of these for free and only paid shipping, or got like a heavy subsidy on them. So that is actually pretty sweet. Thank you, Longboarding, for allowing me to do this. And yeah, catch you guys in the next video.